Hey, Steelers Nation. What a wild and frustrating ride it's been lately. After a game like that, you can feel the tension radiating from every corner of the locker room. There's that same word echoing in every interview, every soundbite, every glance between players: consistency. It's like a broken record, but maybe that's because it's exactly what this team keeps chasing and can't quite seem to grab. When you start the season looking strong, grab some big wins, and then suddenly fall flat the next week, it's not hard to understand why the word keeps coming up. You can't build momentum when you're constantly slipping on your own mistakes. This latest performance felt like a step backward after what they pulled off against Indianapolis. Remember that? The team that knocked off the top dog in the league looked hungry, confident, and united. But fast forward to now, and you can sense the letdown. Brandon Eccles summed it up perfectly when he said, "We just have to stay consistent." He didn't have a lot more to say, and honestly, what could he say? His body language said it all: frustration mixed with a quiet determination to get things right. And it's not just him. Calvin Austin didn't even have the words to describe what went wrong. You could see it in his eyes. This one stung. Cam Hayward, Alex Highsmith, Troy Polamalu, everyone echoed the same message: consistency. The fact that they're all talking about it shows they know the problem, but recognizing it and fixing it are two very different things. Talking about consistency doesn't make you consistent. It takes ownership, leadership, and above all, identity. That's the real issue here. This offense has no idea who it wants to be. The defense, we know their identity. They're a takeaway unit. They want to make you uncomfortable, make you cough up the ball, and they've shown flashes of that all season long. Against Indianapolis, they look like the defense we know they can be: fast, aggressive, disciplined. Even against Los Angeles, they held their own, kept the Chargers from lighting up the scoreboard the way they usually do. But offense? That's a whole different story. Right now, the Steelers' offense feels lost, like it's wandering around trying to find itself. There's no rhythm, no awareness of what they do well, and no urgency to fix what they don't. You can talk about schemes, routes, and formations all you want, but until this team understands its own strengths, the same problems are going to keep popping up every Sunday. And the biggest strength, the one screaming for attention, is Jaylen Warren. The offense has to be built around him. Not next month. Not after the bye week. Now, every time Jaylen touches the ball, something positive happens. 14 carries, 70 yards, a 5-yard average. That's production. That's reliability. That's your identity staring you in the face. Every single carry was a gain, a push forward, a step toward balance. You can't say the same for Aaron Rodgers right now. You can't say it for the receivers who struggled to create separation, dropped key passes, and looked completely out of sync with the quarterback. And you definitely can't say it for the offensive line that still can't hold a pocket for more than a few seconds. This isn't the Aaron Rodgers from 5 or 6 years ago, and that's okay. Time catches everyone. What's not okay is pretending he still is that guy. Rodgers is trying to make plays that his body doesn't want to make anymore. Overthrows, misreads, scrambling backward into trouble. It's like watching an old superhero trying to fly with a broken cape. He's forcing throws, forcing plays, forcing moments that just aren't there. Instead of playing smart football, it's like he's trying to prove something, and in the process, he's hurting the team's rhythm. The Steelers need to stop living in the past and start building for what works now. And what works now is a ground game that can chew clock, control tempo, and take pressure off a quarterback who clearly isn't the same. Warren isn't just a solid back. He's a spark. He brings energy, toughness, and balance. He's the type of player who changes the tone of a drive. Every yard he fights for lifts the offense and opens up opportunities for short passes to the tight ends. Simple plays that keep the chains moving. But instead of leaning into that, what do? They fall back into old habits, relying on Rodgers to pull a miracle out of thin air. It's not just bad strategy, it's denial. The Chargers ran 69 plays to the Steelers' 50. They held the ball for over 37 minutes, compared to just 22 for Pittsburgh. That's not sustainable. You can't win football games when your defense spends nearly 3/4 of the game on the field. And here's the thing. Those gaps, those holes in the Chargers' defense were there all night. Jaylen could have eaten them alive. The only thing stopping him wasn't the Chargers. It was the Steelers themselves. Some mix of play calling and stubborn decision-making kept taking the ball out of his hands. It's baffling. You'd think by now, Mike Tomlin and the offensive staff would have realized that Warren isn't a backup, he's a cornerstone. The players know it, the fans know it, even Rodgers knows it. He said it himself, Jalen needs more touches. And that's the truth. This offense has to revolve around him. It doesn't have to be flashy. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be efficient and honest about what it is. 3-yard gains, 6-yard bursts, play-action setups, dump-offs to the tight ends. That's what's going to keep drives alive and give the defense a break. That's what's going to bring rhythm and, yes, consistency. You can't fake balance. You have to build it through repetition and smart execution. If you think the answer is just to keep firing deep balls to DK Metcalf or forcing throws downfield, hoping for a miracle, you're missing the point. This isn't about hero ball anymore. It's about identity. The Steelers have a chance to redefine themselves right now, not as a high-flying offense, but as a tough, physical, methodical team that wins through grit and control. That's the Steelers brand. That's what this city has always embraced. Every great Pittsburgh team has been built around toughness, discipline, and running the football. The sooner this group leans into that, the sooner we'll see some real progress. It's not glamorous, but it's effective. And right now, effectiveness is exactly what this offense needs. Rodgers doesn't have to be a superhero. He just has to be smart enough to recognize where the strength lies. That means handing the ball to Warren, letting the line build momentum, letting the offense breathe instead of suffocating under forced passes. If they can do that, if they can embrace who they are instead of pretending to be something they're not, that word everyone keeps repeating, consistency, might finally start to mean something. Because right now it's just noise. But if they start playing to their identity, it could become the foundation for a real turnaround. The defense is doing its part. It's time for the offense to catch up and stop being its own worst enemy. And when you start breaking down what went wrong against the Chargers, it becomes clear that the biggest problem isn't talent, it's awareness. This offense is so caught up in trying to be something it's not that it keeps tripping over itself. Every week, it's like watching a band with great musicians who can't agree on what song to play. One guy's trying to play rock, another's playing jazz, and the drummer's just hoping to keep up. That's what the Steelers' offense looks like right now. Out of sync, out of rhythm, and out of answers. Aaron Rodgers has been around long enough to know when things aren't clicking. You can see it in his face. The frustration, the second-guessing, the body language that says he's not seeing what he expects to see from his receivers. Over the past few games, he's been overthrowing, underthrowing, running backward, and taking sacks that make no sense. The man once known for precision and poise suddenly looks unsure of where to go with the ball. It's not that he doesn't have flashes of brilliance. He still does, but those flashes are becoming fewer and farther between. This isn't about disrespecting a 4-time MVP. It's about recognizing that time changes every player. Rodgers doesn't have to be the hero anymore, and maybe that's the hardest truth for him to face. He's playing behind an offensive line that can't hold long enough for those deep routes to develop. He's throwing to receivers who can't seem to find chemistry with him. And worst of all, he's doing it while a dynamic running back stands beside him, waiting for the chance to carry the load. For 3 straight games, Rodgers has been trying to escape collapsing pockets by running out of them, and it's just not working. The man's instincts are telling him to move, but his body isn't keeping up with those instincts anymore. Against Green Bay, he tried to extend plays that simply weren't there, and the result was 3 sacks. Against Indianapolis, same story. Against Los Angeles, it happened again, only worse. He even ran backward into his own end zone, and that turned into a safety. It's like he's trying to rewrite the script, but the ending doesn't change. You can't play this game trying to prove you're still the guy you once were. Rodgers doesn't need to chase that ghost. What he needs is to settle into the role that fits this version of the Steelers, one where his experience and intelligence guide the offense, not his arm strength or mobility. He can still make the throws that matter, but only if the game plan stops asking him to do everything. And that starts with the coaching staff. Mike Tomlin has built his career on discipline, but right now, the offensive side of the ball looks anything but disciplined. The play calling feels hesitant, inconsistent, and at times completely detached from what's happening on the field. There's too much reaction and not enough anticipation. When Warren starts heating up, they go away from him. When the tight ends find a rhythm, they stop calling their number. It's as if no one wants to commit to the obvious solution because it doesn't fit the modern mold of high-powered offense. But who cares about the mold? Pittsburgh's never been about flash. This city doesn't need 50-yard bombs to get fired up. It needs grind, grit, and control. That's what wins here. That's what defines the black and gold. The moment this team stops pretending to be something it's not and starts embracing that physical identity, everything changes. Because right now, the offense is putting the defense in impossible situations. When your opponent controls the ball for nearly 40 minutes, your defense isn't just tired. They're defeated before the fourth quarter even starts. The imbalance is crushing. 69 plays for the Chargers, 50 for the Steelers. That's not a gap, that's a canyon. And it comes down to time of possession. You control the clock, you control the game. Jaylen Warren gives them that control. Every time he carries, he moves the chains, shortens the field, eats up the clock, and gives his quarterback breathing room. It's not rocket science. It's football at its purest form. You feed your most consistent player and build around him. Even Rodgers admitted it after the game. Jaylen needs more touches. When your veteran quarterback says that, it's not just a suggestion, it's a plea. He knows what's happening out there. He sees how much easier the offense flows when the run game sets the tone. It opens up play action. It slows down the pass rush. It gives the receivers time to find open space. Everything works better when the ground game leads. But right now, it feels like the Steelers are fighting their own identity instead of embracing it. They've got tight ends who can contribute but barely see the ball. Pat Freiermuth, Darnell Washington. These guys can be safety valves, reliable targets in short yard situations. Instead, they're treated like afterthoughts while Rodgers tries to make something happen downfield that isn't there. And when that fails, drives stall, momentum dies, and the defense gets dragged back onto the field. What's frustrating is that the solutions aren't complicated. The pieces are there. The talent is there. The problem is execution and mindset. It's almost as if the offense doesn't trust itself. There's hesitation in every move, every throw, every call. That hesitation kills rhythm, and without rhythm, you can't have consistency. And look, fans aren't blind. Steelers Nation sees what's happening. They see a team that fights hard, that still has heart, but they also see a group that keeps stepping on its own feet. They see a veteran quarterback trying to do too much, a coaching staff that refuses to simplify things, and a running back who could change everything if given the chance. It's right there in front of them, and that's what makes it so frustrating. If Pittsburgh really wants to turn this around, they need to stop chasing the illusion of being something they're not. Forget the highlight reels. Forget the comparisons to high-scoring teams around the league. That's not who the Steelers are built to be. This team's DNA has always been physical football. Run the ball, wear down your opponent, control the tempo, and let your defense feast. That formula has worked for decades, and it still works today. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Pittsburgh Steelers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Whispers are circulating through the NFL world as the league reportedly opens an investigation into the recent clash between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Los Angeles Chargers. Sources close to the situation suggest that the scrutiny could reach unprecedented levels, with the possibility that the official result might ultimately be overturned, a scenario that would send shockwaves through the standings and ignite heated debates among fans and analysts alike. The origins of the investigation remain murky, but insiders hint that questionable officiating calls and potential procedural errors on the field have caught the league's attention. While neither team has publicly commented on the matter, the rumor mill is buzzing with speculation about the stakes involved. For Steelers supporters, the notion that a hard-fought victory might be erased is both tantalizing and nerve-wracking, while Chargers fans are reportedly energized by the prospect of a possible reversal, which could reshape perceptions of the team's performance in the contest. Analysts and former players have weighed in quietly, noting that such investigations are rare and usually hinge on a combination of irrefutable evidence and the league's interest in maintaining competitive integrity. Some suggest that the NFL may have received formal complaints from one or both organizations, while others posit that internal review mechanisms, now under the spotlight, may have flagged unusual patterns during the game. The NFL has long been criticized for inconsistent handling of contentious situations, and this case could become yet another lightning rod for debate. Even before any official announcement, social media has erupted with theories ranging from player misconduct to technical missteps, fueling a narrative that has grown faster than any standard post-game analysis. Commentators note that if the investigation concludes in favor of annulling the outcome, it would mark one of the most controversial reversals in recent league history. Regardless of the outcome, insiders agree that this investigation has already cast a long shadow over both franchises, forcing coaches, front office personnel, and fans to reconsider what really happened on the field. As the NFL quietly gathers information, speculation is expected to intensify, and every subtle hint from the league, teams, or even players could ignite a new wave of conjecture. For now, the only certainty is uncertainty. The Steelers-Chargers result hangs in the balance, and the football world waits with bated breath for the league to decide whether a monumental reversal is on the horizon. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Pittsburgh Steelers, make sure to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.